Vina Bharath. We continue at Government Information Services Limited to take you on a journey of delivery, fulfilling the promise, highlighting the achievements of government in the 2 years of its existence since May 24th, 2010. In tonight's program, we remind you of distribution of laptops, the prison radio project, early childhood centers. But first, a meaningful attempt to save the lives of children, the Children's Life Fund, as government continues to deliver on fulfilling the promise.
There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. These are the wise, potent, and true words of, as I said, Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa. Because there is no doubt that each child is a precious gift from God. And each child deserves the opportunity to be happy, to be healthy, to play, to dream, to be all that he or she was created to be. I promised that we would establish Children's Life Fund. Monies to go for life-saving surgeries and so on for children. Because I could not believe that a country like ours, with an annual GDP of about $22.5 billion US dollars, last figures for 2009, that we would have our children dying because we could not give them the medical care that they needed. I say today to all of you, join us as we make a meaningful attempt to improve the lives of children who are without a doubt the most vulnerable. I am advised that under the Medical Aid Committee that was being utilized by the Ministry of Health prior to the legislative effect of the Children's Life Authority, since June 2010, 38 children ranging from 6 to 14 years have benefited from over $10 million in financial assistance. So we saved 38 children from May last year to the present time. I hope we can save many more lives. If it was not for the intervention of the ministry, young Krista mightn't have had a chance, or baby Kayla, or young Shavlon. This, however, was the forerunner, and now the hard work begins with an aggressive campaign to reach our target of $100 million. I ask you all to join us, be part of something special. The Children's Life Fund is integral to achieving our goal as a nation, protecting the right of every child in TNT to life, to survival, and development. The Children's Life Fund will also protect families who may be at risk of becoming medically indigent due to the catastrophes associated with health care for the child's medical condition. I call on all citizens here and those who will read and hear of us to, throughout our land, to place the health and well-being of our children first. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. May God continue to bless our nation.
The government spent an estimated $53 million to provide every child going to secondary school with his or her own laptop.
The government identified a series of activities deemed necessary to achieve its vision for education. One of these activities is the creation of connected classrooms, which will be central to educational transformation and the development of student-centered classrooms and learning. Information communication technology will be deployed, as we stated, and exploited to provide open teacher-to-teacher, student-to-teacher, teacher-to-student, and student-to-student sharing of knowledge and information.
The first batch of 17,300 laptops arrive on the 21st of September. The ministry says the remaining laptops will continue to arrive in batches over the next 2 weeks, with distribution at an average of 15 schools per day. The laptops come with carrying cases and 14 software packages installed.
This goal of ECAL includes achieving seamless, high-quality and comprehensive education via contemporary solutions. It is envisaged that this program will better provide the nation's students with a competitive edge in today's global information society. In this regard, The National Information and Communication Technology Company Limited, IGOV-TT, has been engaged by the Ministry of Education to undertake the Laptop Rollout 2011 project for the manufacture and supply of computer hardware, laptops, and peripheral equipment to all secondary schools throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
The Prime Minister has committed to continue the distribution of laptops to all first formers over the next 4 years.
The prison radio project represents the use of communications medium of radio as an educational, social, and practical tool to enhance the delivery of restorative justice in the local prison system. The local project has been started with an initial seed capital of $400,000. This will be used to train the inmates and the correctional officers identified by the prison service for the project and purchase equipment for setting up the station. Once all is finalized with the relevant authorities, such as the Trinidad and Tobago Telecommunications Authority, a studio will be installed at the maximum security prison. This will be the first phase of the project. It is our intention to connect all 5 prison facilities to the radio station once the pilot phase of the project proves a success. The Ministry of Justice and Team Justice is also pursuing with the relevant bodies the possibility of certification for offenders completing this program. Ladies and gentlemen, practitioners in the field of corrections administration agree that a great percentage of especially first-time offenders, if treated properly and given opportunities to transform, will not return to prison.
Tobagonians now have a greater chance of receiving better health care on the island. This, as the long-awaited Scarborough Hospital was commissioned by Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. The hospital can boast of providing non-contrast CT scans, ultrasound, mammography, as well as bone density scans. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar said the realization of the hospital project could not have happened without collaboration among all stakeholders.
This project has truly been a team effort. It has shown that indeed partnership is a vital factor in making dreams into reality. And today I ask you to give a round of applause for all those who partnered together to make this dream a reality. Sustainability relies upon the well-being of our people and our ability to provide care that is needed when it is needed and with the capacity that is needed.
The Prime Minister added that ensuring the hospital was opened was something high on the agenda for her government, as providing proper health care for all citizens was a priority.
This hospital will provide appropriate care for the chronically ill and our treasured senior citizens, whilst at the same time supporting the integration of primary care and community service into a total system of health care. Further, we are utilizing information and communication technology in the operation and management of this hospital at all levels to further enhance our thrust to maximum efficiency in the delivery of healthcare services. This initial phase also includes the implementation of a patient registration service to properly identify every patient interfacing with healthcare services. Each patient will receive an e-health card, and that shall be the primary means by which he or she will access health services at this hospital.
While the ceremony symbolized the opening of the first phase, the Prime Minister assured that the full commissioning would take place by the end of the year.
This is fulfilling the promise, change in action. The initiatives and actions of government in office from one ministry to another.
You're shopping for a house to call your home, or you've already got one of your own. Know your mortgage guidelines. Tell me terms, tell me rate. Calculate, will it change, and on what day? Hey, what's the current mortgage market reference rate?
You need to know so much about your home mortgage. Get the Residential Mortgage Market Guideline. It's your right to know about your mortgage so you can know your way home.
Promoters, are you planning an event? If your noise is excessive, you can be shut down. Remember, music is our culture. Noise is not. To find out more, call the EMA or visit ema.co.tt.
Welcome back to Fulfilling the Promise. Early childhood care and education centers, an opportunity for the first years in a child's life to be solid and well-grounded. We take you back to the opening of the Clark Rochard Government Early Childhood Care and Education Center.
The official opening of the Clark Rochard Early Childhood Education Center, which you have been asking for years. It is now a reality. Prime Minister, this Early Childhood Education Center is just one of what the Ministry of Education has been able to do since you have come into government. We have completed construction of 11 more early childhood education centers, and we have another 12 that will be ready for opening by September of this year. We have another 24 that will commence construction in June 2011 this year, and by December 2011 we would have completed those 24.
You know, there's a saying, and it's backed by scientific evidence, that the first 7 years of a life of a child are the most important years of that child. In this 4-year term, Minister of Education is your mandate. My vision, my mission is to achieve universal preschool education. Why? Because those first few years of the life of a child, they make the difference between a better quality of life or a life of poverty. Today's events reflects, in my respectful view, one of the best investments we can make as a government and as a people in our country's development and for the future.
The formal launch of the refurbished eye theatre at the San Fernando General Hospital. What's special about this is that it's dedicated to surgical operations for the eye. New technology was installed to complement this. This is the phacoemulsification machine. It is a significant part of the new technology brought into eye care wards in general hospitals throughout the country. It is deemed to be more efficient and said to reduce the waiting time for cataract patients.
And so because of that, we could actually increase the caseloads from approximately 6 cases per day to now roughly about 12 or more.
Lessening the backlog is the real objective. In here at the eye ward, it's not just spacious. The ambience is made better too, so patients can feel comfortable. Another convenience with this new setup is you can get your operation done within hours.
We cater for day surgery, whereas before, patients will come in the night before, have surgery the following day, and spend that night, and if the following day, give a total of 2 hospital nights. Now how it's done, the patient arrive 6 o'clock in the morning, they will prepare them for surgery, they'll have surgery, and by 11 o'clock, patients out of here. We call that same day surgery.
The eye theatre features 2 operating theatres side by side. They're equipped with 2 ceiling-mounted microscopes, allowing more flexible use for surgical teams. They're also the only 2 of this kind to be found in the Caribbean. The Ministry of Health wants nationals to make lifestyle decisions that can control the risk factors contributing to vision impairment and loss. The public is invited to join the Ministry of Health's ophthalmology clinics to access a wide range of vision and eye care services and surgery free of cost. The clinics are available at the San Fernando General Hospital, the Port of Spain General Hospital, the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, and the Sangre Grande Hospital.
We're here today to launch this campaign, which essentially is the ultimate goal, I believe, of this ministry, and which is to put Trinidad and Tobago on your table. It's taken us some time to develop it. It's taken us some time not just to develop the concept, but to put in place all of the prerequisites to allow us to be here today. And I talked about all of the infrastructural issues and all of the other things that went in to be able to come here today and say, look, we can now be in a position to provide local food to restaurants and hotels and the tourist industry generally when they come calling and when they come asking for it. And it's all highlighted, as you all know, and integral part and parcel of the development of Trinidad and Tobago, as highlighted in our manifesto, restoring respect to farmers and restoring respect to agriculture. Today you will see a number of fruits on display: watermelons, pineapples. In addition to the exotic ones, you will see watermelons, pawpaws, dwarf pommes mangoes, jackfruits, and so on. We believe that locally grown foods are healthier for us. We know where it's grown, how it's grown. We are helping to build our own economy when we buy locally grown foods. And in fact, many of our local foods, like sweet potato and cassava, are actually healthier and more nutritious. In fact, their glycemic indices are much higher than potato. They're far more complex carbohydrates. So for people, for example, who are diabetics, it's much better for your health. And we are going to be promoting, as a government, we are going to be promoting, in addition to why to buy local, that the healthy aspects of locally grown foods is part and parcel of the whole program. We at the ministry are now providing that buffer. We are now providing that opportunity to hold the hands of our farmers and to take them and to build a bridge and to ensure that we hold their hands as they cross that treacherous water sometimes to meet with the hoteliers and with the restaurateurs of Trinidad and Tobago.
Developing the minds of persons throughout the various communities. These are the words of Urpuj West MP Stacey Rupnarine, who spoke at the launch of the YTAP training program at the Woodland Community Centre. Minister Rupnarine says with the various programs being offered at YTAP, persons young and not so young will be able to obtain advanced training and certification to allow them access into the world of work.
So we have to go one step further. And we have to ensure that we develop our human resource. We develop our people. Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar, has always said that her government is a people-centric one. And for any country to develop, its people must first be developed. And so that is why we are here today, to offer you, the community, access to this YTEP program, to allow you to educate yourselves, to become certified as well, so that you can have an opportunity to move on from programs such as URP and CPEP, which some of you may currently be enrolled in.
The Urpuj West MP says the opportunity extended to the very fortunate community allows them to think even further into opening their own businesses.
Right here in our community, we now have access to this YTEP program, where you yourselves could come and learn. You can bring your children. They can come and learn. And from this, they can become entrepreneurs in their own way.
While pledging her commitment to continue working closely with her community members, Ms. Rupnarine is urging persons to come forward with ideas on what other programs are needed in the area.
If you come to me and you say what is in need of the people of the area, then we can bring those services directly to you. So that way you also have a say in the development of your community.
Food security for Trinidad and Tobago, the opening of the YTAP Centre, and a wide range of vision and eye care services free of cost. Fulfilling the promise. We'll be right back.
Noise can have serious effects on babies, the elderly, at-risk patients and pets. It can cause migraines, irritability, hearing loss, and sleep deprivation. Remember, music is our culture. Noise is not. To find out more, call the EMA or visit ema.co.tt. Noisemakers beware. Excessive noise is against the law. Did you know that apart from the noise pollution control rules, there are over 10 pieces of legislation under which noise can be addressed? Any officer of the police service can take action against noise pollution. Remember, music is our culture. Noise is not. To find out more, call the EMA or visit ema.co.tt.
This is Fulfilling the Promise, Change in Action, the initiatives and actions of government in office from one ministry to another. In this segment, the opening of the Shogunas Library, the restoration of Woodford Square, and Sokka social outreach in coastal areas.
The Shogunas Library is one of 3 expected to be built by the Ministry of Arts and Multiculturalism. 2 others are to be constructed by year's end. Line Minister Winston Gypsy Peters hopes it will serve as a powerful educational tool.
By making access to information, resources and technology available to all regardless of income, class or background. A public library levels the playing field and helps close the gap between rich and poor. Libraries unite and make their resources available to everyone in the community, regardless of social status. There will be indeed a 2-story structure with a floor area of 40,537 square feet. There will be an adult, a young adult and children area, separate storytelling and workshop areas and office space for the staff. There will be an audio-visual room, very large audio-visual room, that would in fact accommodate the community activities. Libraries build communities. People gather at libraries to find and share information, experience and experiment with the arts and media, and engage in community discussion and, of course, games.
The Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Jack Warner, who's also the MP for Shogunas West, wants the library to be used as a place for social interaction.
The debate between Dr. Eric Williams and Don Basil Matthews in 1955 in the library, the public library in Port of Spain. And therefore that debate in 55, which ushered in a new government, a new era of government, began in a library. And we have to understand, therefore, that a library, in many cases, is much more than a place of learning, but also it is a place where people meet to exchange ideas.
This historical landmark is sheltered not just by the trees that grew and transformed with it over the years. Woodford Square is well known for being a virtual space.
We carry on debates here from history, politics to quantum physics.
Today, the Mayor of Port of Spain and Tourism Minister Dr. Rupert Griffith are brought together to ensure the continued restoration and preservation of Woodford Square, and to make it, and others like it, part of the tourism product.
I am happy that the Ministry of Tourism, and indeed Minister Rupert Griffith, is excited about doing things that lends itself to tourism.
This signage initiative was spearheaded by the Tourism Ministry, and this blackboard symbolizes the ministry's desire to let the learning continue in the square. The Ministry of Tourism hopes to create a new appreciation of the country's historical heritage and to inform the discerning visitor and citizen. All the minister wants now is for citizens to keep it clean. Woodford Square is soaked up in history, and evidence of that is still nailed to the ground around it. The square is nestled inside a cross-section of roads known as Fredericks, Abercrombie, Knox and Hart Streets, where the footprints of many events in past and recent history are stamped.
The Ministry of the People and Social Development has launched a program aimed at developing rural communities. Sokka, as it's commonly called, Social Outreach for Coastal Areas, is part of the ministry's Direct Impact Initiative. Line Minister Dr. Glenn Ramadasing visited the community of Cedrus with the Direct Impact team, where he held a beach cleanup and distributed a number of social services to residents in need.
When we go to the coastline areas, because when you try to come to these communities, it's a long way sometimes during the week with traffic. And we are not able to do meaningful work. So we have decided to do social outreach programs on the weekends in coastline areas. So when you put it together, social outreach in coastline areas, Sokka. So the name of the project is Sokka, and it is being held and launched during this period of Carnival. And therefore today is your day, where we embarked on a cleanup of the beachfront, and we would have taken several truckloads of material off there. The Ministry of the People has been working assiduously to rectify the injustices of the past. And that is why the ministry takes the service. Don't make you go to Point Fortin or Port of Spain, but we bring the services of the ministry live and direct to the communities itself. And therefore, that is why we started what is called the Direct Impact Program. Thank you. Because we in the Ministry of the People want to have a direct impact on the lives of the people.
Minister Ramadasing announced that emergency food cards will be given to needy families to purchase groceries, while permanent food cards are being processed.
We have started what is a prepaid, disposable, temporary food card that will be given to the MP's offices and other NGOs and support groups that will be able to service someone immediately with a temporary food card who are critically in need and really need it for their children and their babies that are suffering. And this is the first of its kind in the world, launched under the Prime Ministership of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, a temporary food card. The government does not stop there. And you have heard that our senior citizens will be given increased support as they make their way into